All right, just leaving Tumbling Run Shelter. It's a good mix of section hikers, look like some Boy Scouts, and the Chads stayed here. The Von Trapps, most of them except Bodega, went to the top of this hill that I'm going to start the morning climbing. And it's going to be a real hot day today. From my understanding, it should be in the 90s, so it's about 7, getting an early start. Try to avoid that, at least for the first climb of the day, because it was pretty hot yesterday. I think it was almost 88, 89 degrees, and I woke up with a little bit of a headache because I think I was dehydrated. But getting underway, and even the big hills here, only about 1,000 feet, so I'll survive. And I'll show you any cool views or anything else, like I always do. All right. So, a couple interesting things. First, today is Hike Naked Day. You'll be shocked to learn that I am not partaking, and I suspect there's slim to no chance that I will see anybody partaking. I feel like it's one of those days that exists more as a myth than as a reality. But if anybody does, at least it's not on a weekend, because hopefully there will be no children who are exposed to this nonsense. And kind of funny, when Mike came out, we were talking about his trail name, and he said, oh, I think it could be Odyssey, because I drive a minivan and it's an Odyssey. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Who's that guy who was in the Odyssey? Was it Achilles? I was like, it wasn't Achilles. I can't remember who it was. And typical hiker brain freeze, I couldn't remember who it was. And I got back to thinking about it today, and I was like, oh, it's Odysseus. Took me 2 seconds to remember. So just one of those things. It's funny, you know, it seems very obvious as soon as I remembered it, but for some reason on that day at that time, maybe I'd hiked too many miles. I just couldn't. So I thought that was kind of a funny little story to share. And we're still going, maybe done 2 or 3 miles. That's Timon up there, first time I've hiked with him for a few weeks. But yeah, so just going down this hill, and if anything else cool happens, you know what I'll do. All right. Spent, I don't know, hour and a half at Caledonia Park. There were a couple trail magics, free hot dogs of one, and fruit and soda and all kinds of stuff. So took a little break. Had about 9.5 miles to go, so plenty of time. But it is hot out, and I know that right up here I have to climb about 500 feet of really steep hill. And I'm not looking forward to it, because I bet you it's in the 90s right now and pretty humid. But after that, just one more, much more gradual climb of another 500 feet or so, and then it should be fairly straightforward for the rest of the day. And of course, the other thing is I ate way too much, so I'm gonna be doing all this climbing probably with a little bit of a stomach ache, but such is the price for delicious trail magic. All right, so The last time I came hiking here, I remember driving up through Frederick and seeing all these trucks on the side of the road and thinking, oh, that's strange. And then I got here to Pennsylvania, to the park, and I started, and they have these signs say, this is a hunting area, wear fluorescent orange. And I start hearing all these gunshots, and I realized, not being a hunter, that I had no idea. But I was in luck, because my backpack was bright orange. And so I did have some bright orange. I guess that made me relatively safe. But in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have been wearing my antler hat. But I made it out alive, and it was a good hike, but it was a little bit disconcerting hearing gunshots all around and fairly close as I was hiking through the park here. So if you ever come to Caledonia Park in Pennsylvania in the fall, I think it was fall, though it was like 20 degrees, so maybe it was winter, make sure you're aware it's hunting season and wear your fluorescent orange clothing for safety. This has been a public service announcement from Nomad. Okay, I don't know why this is just the deep shade or what, but it is at least 15 degrees cooler under these rhododendrons than it was even just 50 yards ago, and even walking in the shade in both places. And boy, is that a nice reprieve. I might sit down just to enjoy it because it feels like I've walked into a room with air conditioning. All right, this is the Quarry Gap shelter. It's not where I'm staying, but it is a notable shelter here in Pennsylvania. Starting with the porch swing, wooden tent pads, we got a bear box, a bench. We got Earhart over here, the peanut gallery, double shelters, Muscle Man, and a pavilion with a picnic table. And supposedly there's seasonal water, maybe down there, I don't know. Oh, and somebody, I don't know who, puts out fresh flowers at this shelter. And I've even come here in the winter and there's been flowers. So that's Quarry Gap Shelter. It's only a little bit north, Caledonia Park. I believe this is our first power lines of Pennsylvania, right up there, and we can see them to the other side. Looks like this is going to be the best spot to try to see if there's a view. To the right, nothing. To the left, 2.5. Not great, but I think that's the first one of Pennsylvania, at least first one I remember.